Hey, what's up? What's going on out there? I was watching this interview. Kamala Harris is getting interviewed by some journalists, about the upcoming election and things like that. But when they got to this part where they're going to be talking about gun control, and I'm just interested to see what she's going to say about that. I'm going to get my one too, and let's see what she's talking about.
Want to talk to you about gun control. So you've said you support an assault weapons ban and universal background checks, and we actually learned during the debate that you are a gun owner. But in cities like Philadelphia,
Honestly, is that even verifiable? Like, really?
handguns are responsible for most homicides and violent crime. The most recent FBI data shows handguns were involved in 59% of murders in our country. How will you address the issue of the use of handguns? Because a push for an assault weapons ban only addresses a significant but small part of the problem.
Well, I'm glad she's asking her that question. That was a great question, because really, when you think about it, like she says it's really pistols out here that people tote and use in violent crimes like that. And even if it is an assault weapon, is not that much compared to actual like pistols. But if somebody is a criminal, they're going to find a way to get their hand on the strap, regardless of what's going on, regardless of what laws are being passed.
So, first of all, yes, I am a gun owner, and Tim Walz is a gun owner, and we're not trying to take anybody's guns away from them. But we do need an assault weapons ban.
Well, she basically just told a fib right there. She said, we're not trying to take anybody's guns away. Well, some people actually own assault weapons, so that would be taking their guns away. I don't know what she was thinking about right there. Maybe she was tired or something. I don't know.
Assault weapons are designed to kill a lot of human beings quickly,
Yes,
and
an
have
assault
no
weapons
place
ban,
and have
yes.
no place. I'm going to get to it.
Yes.
And have no place on the streets of a civil society. We need universal background checks, which
Another thing too, like, what is an assault weapon? A pistol can be considered an assault weapon. I've seen people switch out different parts of pistols, add switches and all this stuff, drums, extended clips. I mean, what really is an assault weapon, nowadays?
to your point about handguns, is about saying that it is just reasonable to want reasonable gun safety laws that say we should do background checks, that we ought to know. It's just reasonable. You might want to know before someone can buy a lethal weapon if they've been found by a court to be a danger to themselves or others. You might just want to know.
And respectfully, we do understand that.
But you're asking
Yes.
about...
I'm asking specifically about handguns, because many of those handguns aren't purchased in places.
Universal background checks apply to handguns.
Yes.
They do.
But in
And
many instances, those handguns aren't even bought lawfully. Yes.
Which is why I also have been very adamant for years. In fact, I myself protested at a gun show probably 10, 15 years ago about the gun show loophole and why we need to close that. Because what ends up happening is that gun shows at flea markets, gun dealers are not, under existing law in the past, required to register their sales. And so you are exactly right that a lot of homicides, for example, a good number of them, I don't have the statistic in front of my mind, are committed with illegally purchased guns. And that's why we need to address...
Thank you. Like, I don't understand this universal gun ban. Of course, like, background checks, that's a must. But this whole notion of like banning, assault weapons completely, that's never going to happen in the U.S., especially with the Second Amendment in place and especially the history the country's had with weapons. Like, there's no way the country, with the residents, or well, some of the residents of the country are going to allow the government to have more weapons or take their weapon from them just in case they feel like their government is coming up against them. That's not going to happen here.
Each entry point in the issue, including universal background checks, closing the gun show loophole, and what we need to do as a general matter to focus not only on reaction to crime, but prevention of crime. So you're raising a very important issue that has many facets, including what we need to do in terms of reasonable gun safety laws and what we need to do around crime prevention, what we need to do around crime deterrence. But listen, I have personally prosecuted homicide cases. I have held the hands of mothers who have come to me crying, who have said, I only want to talk to Kamala, because they knew when they sat down, I would treat them with the dignity and respect that they were entitled and due about the loss of their child, often their son, to gun violence and the need to take it seriously. And we must take it seriously. In every way, understanding it's not just about a soundbite. It's about a comprehensive approach that deals with the tragedy of, to your point, everyday gun violence in America. It's real. It has had a profound impact in terms of trauma that, for the most part, has gone undiagnosed and untreated. The trauma that exists in communities around the violence of losing their children, losing a brother, losing a father, an uncle, all of that must be addressed, and we have to have a holistic response to
Are
it.
there things we haven't thought about yet? Because every time we bring up this issue of gun violence, universal background checks comes up and a ban on assault weapons. Are there other solutions that you're also thinking about that will get at this issue?
Absolutely. For example, part of what we did as vice president and with the president, we were able to pass the first meaningful gun safety legislation in 30 years. And part of what that involved was millions and millions of dollars to put more mental health counselors in public schools, right? Because we know that there is an aspect of this that is about treating the trauma and dealing with it at its source before it ends up manifesting itself in a problem. There is the work that we need to do that is about putting resources into communities around violence prevention. I've been a big advocate of that for years, which includes what we need to do around putting resources into community-based intervention that is not just requiring on the good people in the community to volunteer to do the intervention, but actually paying people to do it because it's a full-time job.
All right, I'm going to stop the video right there because I feel like she's just going to keep going on and on and on. The reporter brought up some great points. Like, look, all these assault weapons bans, they're really not going to do anything. Like we've heard it all before, the universal background checks, closing the loopholes. If somebody is a criminal or they really want to get their hands on a gun, they can get their hands on a gun, whether it be a quote-unquote assault rifle, pistol, grenade, whatever, a missile launcher, whatever you want to call it. But Kamala, like, again, it just boggles my mind that she says she doesn't want to take your guns, but then the next sentence she says, well, in the next breath she says, we need an assault weapons ban. Duh, that's taking your gun. But like I said, in America, that's not going to happen. It'll be a civil war in America before some of these people let the government take their guns, no matter how many guns they have. You know, I mean, I'm not like a big gun guy, but like, you know, some of these people I've seen have hundreds of guns. You know, that's their prerogative. I don't know why, but if you got a couple straps, cool. But you know, that's my 1-2 on it. You know, just leave your commentary and just let me know what you think about it.